As we come on the air at 6 a.m., breaking news from two sides of the world. Celebrations in Israel happening right now after a peace agreement is reached. But back at home, protests overnight as National Guard troops deploy in Chicago. Welcome in on this Thursday. I'm Lauren Lemanchek alongside Jason Hackett.
And we have team coverage for you this morning as we work to learn more about these developing situations. But first, let's get a check of your weather with meteorologist John Ziegler in the backyard. John, not as cold as it was yesterday, but still chilly.
Yes, I'm still rocking a coat. It's still under 50 degrees. We're in the 40s, but things are changing. We're starting to warm up here, even in the backyard, especially across western Minnesota as the winds start to pick up. Clear skies over downtown, 46. Southeast winds just started to show up overnight. Now, they're only at 5 to 10, and that doesn't seem like much, but the temperature responds quickly to a south wind. Clearly, look at the 24-hour temperature change. 20 degrees warmer, 21 degrees warmer in Marshall. Now, it's not warmer, or it's about the same in Wisconsin. That's because the high is still settled over there, and that's why the winds are lighter. But as you get away from the high pressure, notice the winds. They turn more directly out of the south, and they're at 18 miles per hour. That's a strong morning wind. Temperatures across the area, 46, 43 in Cambridge, 39 in Princeton, 55. Little cloud cover and some winds, 55 degrees in Marshall. We're going near 70 degrees today. Southeast winds, that's another big story before this cold front tonight at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Cece, how's it look out there?
Good morning. Good morning. Things look great. Hope your morning's off to a great start. Live look here in the South Metro. Good morning if you're waking up there. This is in around the Burnsville area as you're headed toward Bloomington here. I'm showing this area to show you that it's open after an overnight closure. 35W northbound shut down between 494 and the Burnsville split. But things are great now. But again, this project will continue later on tonight at 9 and wrap up tomorrow morning at 5. So keep that in mind. 494, Highway 77, 35E are your detours there. Otherwise, if you take a look at your route this morning, it should be green. We're still crash free. I'll have more on some road projects that'll start up after dinner time in a few. Jason.
All right, well, we'll talk to you then, Cece. Thank you very much. Let's get back to those two big breaking stories right now. In Chicago, National Guard troops are on the ground, bringing out thousands of protesters overnight. And
overseas, celebrations are underway right now as Israel and Hamas reach a peace agreement with a crucial vote just hours away. We have team coverage of these two big stories. Michelle's tracking the developments in Chicago, but first, let's get to Audrey and the Middle East.
Jason, Lauren, at 9 a.m. our time, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will hold a vote with his cabinet on an agreement between the country and Hamas to exchange hostages and detainees. This is a crucial first step. They're not voting on the entire ceasefire framework, but videos coming into the newsroom show that there is hope that peace could be right around the corner. And Palestinians celebrating in the streets overnight. Hamas and its allies hold about 48 hostages. They were taken during the inciting attack on October 7th, 2 years ago. Now, the Israeli government believes 20 of those hostages are still alive. And in a post on X, Netanyahu indicated he would approve this exchange, and he thanked President Donald Trump for his role in brokering the deal, as did Palestine's President Mahmoud Abbas. He also thanked President Trump. Now, commenting on the historic nature of this deal, President Trump says he may travel to the Middle East in the coming days.
Peace for the Middle East, it's a beautiful phrase, and we hope it's going to come true. I may go there sometime toward the end of the week, maybe on Sunday.
Again, this first step is just about releasing the hostages. They're at the heart of this ceasefire. Now, we'll hear from their families coming up in about 30 minutes, but for now, I'll send things back to you.
All right, major developments. Thank you, Audrey. Our other breaking story takes us to Chicago, where the National Guard is protecting federal buildings across the city right now.
And that brought out protesters by the thousands overnight. Michelle Beck is at the live desk. And Michelle, we're waiting on a pretty important court decision today as well.
Yeah, I've got a calendar pulled up for a courthouse in Illinois today, and look here at what I have highlighted. We're just a few hours out from State of Illinois versus Trump. A judge is set to rule on requests from the state and the city of Chicago to block the deployment of National Guard troops. Here is the Trump administration's response to that legal controversy. Writing in filings yesterday, there's violence against ICE agents and federal property in the Chicago area. This comes as roughly 500 guardsmen from Illinois and Texas are now activated, and tense exchanges starting with President Trump saying the Chicago mayor and Illinois governor should be in jail. Governor Pritzker replied, "What else is left on the path to full-blown authoritarianism?"
I can't believe I have to say troop movements in a city in the United States, but that is what we're talking about. We're getting no information from them. They willy-nilly run over people's rights.
Then Pritzker gets up and he says, like, I don't know what they're talking about. We don't have crime here. They're crazy. I think actually they're petrified. You know, their families live there, everything else. I actually think they're scared.
Now, as I just told you, these deployments are facing legal challenges, but they could be effectively overruled if the president calls on the Insurrection Act. That would give him the power to deploy troops inside the U.S. And as NBC News is now reporting, officials in the White House are having serious talks about invoking it. Back to you.
All right, Michelle Beck with the latest out of Chicago. Thank you so much. We're live at MSP this morning, tracking delays and cancellations due to the government shutdown. We just checked flights and everything is running on time, but there are 2 cancellations. We saw more disruptions there, though, in the last 24 hours. At least as many as 16 flights were delayed compared to 1 the day before. So at the peak across the country, delays neared 600. The delays from MSP you can see are going to the hardest hit airports like Denver, Boston, and San Francisco. Now, impacts are reaching far beyond the airport as the shutdown enters day 9. Today, nearly half of the IRS workforce is being furloughed, 34,000 employees. That means the agency will have to pause many services, including answering phone calls as taxpayers prepare to file on the extension deadline of October 15th. By the way, that deadline still applies in a shutdown.
Disturbing new details this morning from White Bear Lake High School on the 22-year-old man who allegedly pretended to be a student. Multiple parents are now accusing Calvin Lubke of sexually assaulting students. That's according to new search warrants. Those warrants also allege a school resource officer is investigating a claim that Lubke got nude photos from a juvenile girl. They say several younger girls have contacted police to say Lubke was texting or messaging them on social media. The family he was living with speaking out about the allegations for the first time. Their identity is being concealed because of safety concerns.
I've lectured him. You know, it's like, no, you're over 18, and if you're messing around with girls that are under 18, that's a crime, period. You need to not do that.
So did that lecture come after the news reports came out?
That's been since he started staying here.
Lubke isn't facing any charges in this case yet. White Bear Lake superintendent says Lubke enrolled as a 17-year-old homeless, unaccompanied youth and presented a birth certificate from another country.
Well, time now 6:08 this morning. New information about that breaking news we told you about on Sunrise yesterday. Minneapolis police are now calling on Bar Zia to reevaluate its security after someone shot and killed 1 person and hurt 3 others. Police say multiple fights broke out just before midnight at the bar, just blocks away from U.S. Bank Stadium. They say the fight escalated and someone opened fire. Police say a 21-year-old man died at the scene. The 3 others who were shot were taken to the hospital and are expected to survive. We did check right before the news, and there is no update on any arrests.
This morning, we have a sad update in Sartell. The police chief says the 12-year-old boy who crashed while riding his bike died peacefully yesterday after being taken off life support. Officials say Raghav Shrestha, a 7th grader, was wearing a helmet but was severely hurt in the bike crash. In the chief's update, he says Raghav's parents shared that he was always courageous and took the most pride in being a big brother.
Right now, crews are battling a wildfire in northern Minnesota that officials say has grown to 35 acres. It's on the east side of George Crosby Manitou State Park, which is about an hour and a half north of Duluth. The park has a lot of remote campsites and is popular for people looking to see those fall colors. This morning, it's not clear exactly what caused that fire.